Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us, may He nourish us, may we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures, may our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to everyone. We welcome everyone to the satsang of the Sri Satya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia, and we are doing the study circle on Gita Vahini, the commentary written by our Lord Sai Krishna on the Bhagavad Gita of Lord Krishna. So we are discussing the theme on page 24, where Swami talks about how to get rid of delusion, because delusion is moha. We are all in the delusion, and the whole purpose of all spiritual practices is to get rid of the delusion. When this moha is gone, moha chaya, that is moksha. Moksha is not a big word, as if you are going someplace. Once moha chaya, once you get rid of your moha, that is gone, that is moksha. So Lord Krishna, as a universal teacher, is telling him the facts. So I won't repeat it. Summary, I hope all of you now mastered that. From sloka 12 to 30, what is it about? Atma versus Anatma. So you should know, and all of you know that now. You are, what is Atma? So just you need to contemplate, dive deep, that is the highest. Then from 30 to 38, what is our dharma? Each of us have a role to play in life, depending on our gender, our stage in life, or our aptitude. And we need to follow the dharma. That is what he was talking about. So when we are doing our duty, whether at home or at work or in the society, there will be challenges. That is what he was telling. Arjuna wanted to walk away from the challenges. He says we should all face the challenges with courage and determination. If something happens in that we lose or then still it is okay, you will get the good results. If you succeed, you will enjoy the fruits. So that is why always never give up your duty. Now we have been talking the last 2 weeks how to do karma, right? Every one of us is involved in karma, morning to evening. So 4 important things everybody should remember, right? One is karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bhut mato stangostva karmani. We are all entitled. It's very important. All of us have to do duty, no choice. But willfully we give up the fruits of action to the Lord. That is the thing. Then you are not bound. Krishna arpanamastu, Rama arpanamastu, or Sai arpanamastu, whatever it is, just Lord, I did dedicate everything. That is one secret. Second thing is, whenever you are doing any work, 3 important things he said. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe kurunandana. You should have one pointedness whenever you are doing any work. Don't have a scattered brain like it is talking about multitasking. You are not focused in one thing. That is not good. So you should have it one pointed. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe kurunandana. Bahusha kanantascha buddhayo avya. Uncultured mind is multi fragmented brain. Then another two more important things we said is, what is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Whenever you are doing work, you should have that equal mindedness, balance, equipoise. So not get agitated, because there will be your boss may be scolding, your colleagues may be giving trouble, problems at home with the spouse or children or things like that, or in the society or in an organization. Always there will be more than two people. There will be differences of opinion, conflict. So just you need to maintain the samatvam. That is why whole thing in intense activity, keep that equipoise. And fourth thing we talked about is, this is yoga karma kaushalam. Whatever work we do, perfection in action. Yoga karma sukaushalam, perfection in action, like the artist who does the best piece of art, sculptor who does that, or anything, whatever you do to the best of your ability. You can't compare. Somebody may have special talents. To our give ability, are we putting the best efforts? So those are the very four important points. So do the work, dedicate the fruits to the Lord. Second is to have the one-pointedness when we are doing the work. Third is, when you are doing the work, do it to the best of ability. And fourth is maintain that samatva. So these are the four important points. And then people say, I don't get the results. He says always nishkama karma is better than inaction. So always you need to be action, but do it with that manishna. Last week we talked about 51 shloka. Karmajam bhukti yuktahi palam tyaktya manishnaha. Really, a wise man gives up the fruits but doesn't give up the action. That is how we get rid of the cycle of birth and death, because otherwise we punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. You born and die, born and die. This cycle, that's why it's called cycle of birth and death. You go on repeating till you finish that. That is the way you need to work. So now two slokas we will do. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati karishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavasyasya sutasya cha. So whenever moha kalilam means impurities, dirty. So our mind is, so many impurities are there. Once you get rid of the impurities, then you nirvedam shrotavasya sutasya cha. You are not interested to hear that. You are happy by yourself because you got rid of your impurities. That means blessed are the pure in heart, for they'll see God. You already have vision of God. So there is nothing for you to hear or listen. So just you are happy by yourself. So that is what is important. Once you get rid of the impurity, that is the whole purpose of practices, is to get rid of our impurities. What are the impurities? All the things we talked about, 6 inner enemies: desire, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Desire, anger, greed, attachment, pride and jealousy. These are the inner enemies which everyone has. Different degree varies, whether you are a king or a pauper, you are a noble laureate or ignoramus, or you are saint or a sinner, different degrees. So once you are get rid of that, then you are enlightened. So then there is nothing for you to listen, nothing for you to learn. That's what shloka 52 is. 53. Shruti vipratipannate yadhas thasyasya nischala samadha vachala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. So your mind, because you heard this, that, so your mind is agitated because you hear too many things. So, but you are established in this meditative stage, then you are not perturbed. So one way this is a problem nowadays with the YouTubes and this social media. You get too many messages. Then why? That is what he says. All this input you have from different sources, too much information, your mind will get agitated. What we should do? So whenever we get information or send information to other people, you should think, how can it help others? How will it take them to closer to God? Already we know the path. Just repeat the name, do good service. So this too much information, there is information explosion. Swami says it causes agitation of the mind. So we should always filter it. We should always say how much information we have. That's why even newspaper people reading, Swami says newspaper creates nuisance. Television is a televisham, Swami says. It is a poison. It poisons your mind because all these sensory impressions, what you hear, what you see, it will make your subconscious impression. You can really verify that when you quietly sit meditation, just sit for 10 minutes. You want to just focus on one topic, light or God or love. That time that thought will come, that person said, this I watched. All those like a movie you will come in front of you because you had those input, sensory input from different sources. So it is very careful. That is why the famous scripture say, Badram Ganapati other version, Badram Karne Vishnuyama Deva, Badram Pasche Machyare Aga. So Lord, let me hear what is good. Let me see what is good. So these two inputs are very important. Somebody is talking some gossip, rumor, some thing. It pollutes your thing. It goes. It think you are just listening. If you can really so expert to let it go through the other ear, is good. But most of these people retain that in the head, and it comes in odd times. Things so you should be. And same thing. Seeing even Swami said seeing those banners and then posters, something which is sensual, it will pollute your brain. So what you see and what you hear, you should be very careful because that is going to cause the agitation of the mind. That's what he is telling. You should be established in that state so that you don't get this unnecessary input. Even the computers, right? When there is too much information, what happens? Crashes. Right? So just too much because you don't have enough storage. Even if you go on expanding from megabytes to gigabytes to terabytes, how much you can expand, but still there is a limit. So you go beyond that, it crashes. So same thing will mind people who have too many things, agitation. That is why one time I said, one of the saints said 3 things. Bolo mat, socho mat, hilo mat, rovo mat. That means don't talk too much because that causes agitation. Don't hilo mat. Some people go on shaking this and body, this, legs, this, and go on shaking. That is some. If you have sickness, it is okay. What if some people have neurological problem, they get shaking. So God save them because of what their karma. But willfully, you should try to still the body. And same thing with the speech. And socho mat, too much thinking, that, this. So if you do that, then you rovo mat, then you won't cry much. Otherwise, you'll be going on crying. That mind agitated, body, things. So this is what just go on getting too much sensory input causes that. That is why people go into caves or forest for quietness and meditation. Solitude is to quieten that mind. But Swami is beautiful. Said you don't need to go to forest. Head in the forest, hands in the society. You still work, but your mind should be in the thoughts of God. Then automatically you are tuned into God. So this is very important. So just is a practical. Don't get too much input. And also there is nothing you need to hear once you are enlightened.
Uncle, one important thing in that what you said, it's important to know it. When it is negative, it will just stays for a longer time in the mind. Sometimes positive things just crosses over. To get rid of this negative thing is becoming very hard. So better to not engage in negative thoughts at all.
Yes.
And that's the key thing. I mean, to arrest it before it comes. Otherwise, it just stays there, and somehow to get rid of it is, you said the right thing, but you know,
no,
this
you are 100% important. That's very underscore it. Like in the old days, I don't know, some of you might not have seen younger people. Swami Vivekananda, that time they had a gramophone record. Some of the old people, there was a 78 RPM, 33 RPM, 45. They used to have, even I saw that till I was in college. Now, then we had these CDs, now DVDs, now nothing else, now flash drive and the links are, that's all. Things go on changing. But Swami Vivekananda said that time when there is gramophone record, if there is a scratch in the record, he says they play with putting a needle on that. So automatically it goes to the scratch, not in the regular thing that plays the music. Similarly, the example he said, mind, when there is negative thoughts, automatically it goes on that rather than positive. And also, I remember when I was in practice in office, we have got nice magazine, sports or something, health magazine. But there will be one of these girls, they have Enquire, something, some of those, these rumor magazines. What are those Enquire? I don't remember those names also because I don't know what. So they pick them up and bring into the room, not the other things, because people are always interested in gossip, rumors, what is happening. That is, most of the mind goes like that. So we should be careful. Swami, that is why I said, if you want to read instead of novel, fiction, read about great saints, sages, scriptures and all that. If you want to watch movies about God and saints and things. You want to listen, so always, same sense organs you can use for good purposes. And listening good things, seeing good things, talking about God instead of talking about something. If you want to go to, instead of going to movie houses, go to the temples or places of pilgrimage, like that. If you want to use the hands, use for not bad things, use for worship of God. If you want to sing in the name of God. Everything, same things which you do for sense enjoyment, you do it for this, then it becomes holy. It becomes worship of the Lord. That is important. So now he says, once you do that, he says, you don't get agitated, you are established in that steady state. That is what he says, important point. He was telling, samadha vachala buddhi. He says, tada yogam avapsisi. You have attained yoga. You are always. So then he is a good student. Who? Arjuna. That is why he started, Arjuna is an instrument. Then he asked the question, Arjuna. He listened all that. He asked question. This is from now on, 54 to 72, is considered the very most important part of this chapter. These are the qualities of his Sthitaprajna. As I said, Mahatma Gandhi used to have these 18 slokas memorized. He used to have a herd in his bathroom, put one sloka after another so that he can memorize one every day. Finally, he learnt everything. And Acharya Vinoba Bhave, Sarvodaya leader, whom we chant Om Tat Sat Sri Narayana Tu Purush, he is the one who composed that. So he also used to talk. I heard personally when I was 7th grade or something, giving talks on Jnana Yoga in Kadapa, a town called Kadapa in Andhra Pradesh, about this particular chapter, which is good. So this is very qualities. So Arjuna has a question. He says, man is established in that enlightened man. Then he has Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadih kim kamasita kim asita prajeta kim. This Sthitaprajna, this is the man of steady wisdom, enlightened man. Ka bhasha, how does he how does he behave, and what is his qualities, bhasham, and prabhasheta, how does he talk, and kim asita, how does he sit, rajeta kim, how does he move about. So the man who is established in samadhi state, what are his qualities? Because Arjuna has interest, he wants to be enlightened. So how does it, because he says, oh, he's a great soul, he's an evolved soul. People make a comment often, oh, that's a great soul, enlightened soul, his thing. Oh, yeah, he has a question, Arjuna, how does that man, what is his qualities, how does he speak, how does he sit, that means how is his behavior, how is the move about, what are the qualities? This is the question. And then from sloka 55 to 72, these are the 18 slokas, 18 gems. So this is describes which all of us have to develop if you want to be enlightened. So these 18 things. What first one? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manohara atma manogatan atmaiva aneva atmana tushta sthitaprajnasya ochyate. He is giving definition. See, when it's talking about enlightenment, they say you don't need a mic also. You can hear, right? Still good.
Yeah.
So he says, he as a teacher is telling Sthitaprajnasya ochyate. He is, uchyate means I'm defining, this is the guy, Sthitaprajna is like that. What is his qualities? First is, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan. In his mind, he gives away all the desires. So two things he says, jahati means giving up. Prajahati means he really gives up. He's giving up is okay. He's putting a qualification. Prajahati, well, completely washes off. No more desire. Which one? Which desire? Sarva Kaman, all desires. So that is why Swami says man minus desire is equivalent to God. So this man, completely the real Sthitaprajna, has no desires. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. All the desires he has given up. Then what we are happy with no desires because we want to have good things, you have company and all. They give up. How do Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta Sthitaprajna. He is happy, more happy than anybody else because he is rebels. He is Atma Rama. He enjoys within himself because we all need outside things for happiness, like some company of friends, company of people, company of going see this place or going to that place, eating this or hearing this. This guy doesn't need anything. He says, I am happy, Atma Rama, like Ramana Maharshi. He was just one place, he was happy. So he doesn't need any outside stimulus to be happy. So that is the quality where giving up all desires, he revels within himself. That is called Atma Rama Sthiti. So Atmanyeva Atmanatushta. So there is no other things because here everyone has indwelling Atma. So just in the contemplation of Atma, he is very happy. But our Swami is so practical. He says, get rid of the desires, nobody will come to God, he says. That is why one time he says, devotees, Swami, one time here Swami was not giving darshan because he had a fall. Swami, devotees are all waiting. Who is devotee here? They all want to have, somebody wants marriage for their children, son, somebody wants a promotion, the job, somebody has his sickness, they want cure, somebody wants trouble in the business, they want something. All of them have some baggage, something they want. Real devotee only wanting God, there is nothing there. So that is why people without desires. But he says, that is why Swami introduced what system? Sealing on desires. So he didn't say, if you say no desires, nobody will go. Okay, we'll go to some temple and pray for that. We don't need you. So sealing on desires. If you have 1,000 desires, make it 100. If you have 100 desires, make it 10. So go on cutting down the number of desires. So somebody wants to have 100 saris, give 10, 10, 1, like that. Like Abdul Kalam is an example. How in the past way he had just couple of clothes and couple of, there's people who live life like that. A very simple life, even though he was the president of the country. So by the time he left, only the good legacy of living a simple life and a noble life. So like that. So they are happy within themselves. So that's why sealing on desires, at least we should practice that, then it will lead us to the progress towards enlightenment. That is first thing. Actually, that summarizes what all he is going to expand next one. First is how you say, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyev atmanatushta. He revels within himself. Then if he is like that, then what happens? Next is 56. Dukkeshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigataspruhaha vita raga bhaya krodha Sthitadher muni uchyate. That person uchyate, every time he is telling. That man is called Sthitadhi, a muni, who is one dukkeshu anudvignamana. That means dukkha means sorrow. Some sorrow happens. Unidvignama, we all get agitated, depressed, or worried, and anxiety. Nothing bothers him. Dukkeshu. Sukheshu vigataspruha. When something happy and this happens, doesn't get excited. Oh, I'm in bliss, I'm in ninth class, cloud 9 or something, this, right? I'm this and that, people say. That doesn't matter to him. Dukkeshu anudvignamana, sukheshu vigataspruhaha. Then those are the two qualities. Then third is vita raga, he doesn't have attachment. Bhaya, no bhayam, he has no fear. Krodha, he has no anger. Sthitadher muni ruchyate. So these are the 5 qualities telling. He doesn't get excited with something pleasure, he get depressed when there is sorrowful things, and no attachment, and no fear, and no anger. That is the man with that. So you may think, if really are there people like that? Yes, in the history there is, and even things. So here, first I will tell one story of sage Shuka. You know the Shuka, right? Who is Shuka? He is the one, Chiranjeevi. He is the one son of sage Vyasa. He is the one who taught Bhagavatam to King Parikshit. Because 7 days you heard that and you will get liberation. So this sage Shuka, he was a Brahmajnani. He was very good. So he asked his father, teach me. He says, no. Father teaches people, don't listen. So even though Vyasa is the one codified the Vedas, wrote 18 Puranas, and did Brahma Sutras, all that, go to King Janaka. He will teach you what is the real jnana. So King Janaka is a king ruling kingdom, is so busy, what can he teach? He was thinking, but his father said so, he implicitly followed. He went to the king. So you see, I'm Shuka, I came to meet the king. They went and told. Okay, he heard that, he made him wait 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days he has to wait. He didn't have enough food, he was just there, like he ignored somebody, like something. Then after the 7th day, this king Janaka sent people to receive him, in a royal reception, throwing the nice perfume water, people dancing around, taking him and taking to the palace, and the king received him with honor, gave him great feast, and everybody fanning him, and says, "Oh, Jai," says Shuka. Then the whole thing is over, and then Shuka asked King Janaka, teach me Brahmajnana. He says, you don't need it. Because when I insulted you for 7 days, it didn't bother you. When I made you extol you with the greatest pleasures, you were not excited. You were same thing. It didn't bother you. So his extremes. One was completely you are ignoring, and completely you are extolled, giving the greatest comforts. You are that stage of, already you attained that stage, this Sthitaprajna state. What is there for me to teach you? And Rama, Srirama, he is an avatar though, he is the greatest example, right? He was about to be coronated, made the king, and that minute he was sent to the exile, to the forest. But he had the same beautiful smile. He didn't say, that's why the famous thing, same Mita Smita Sundara. He was always maintained that stage, a beautiful smile in the extreme. So you are about to be a king. Imagine you are about to be a king. You are going to be wearing the akar robes, or not even akar. What is this? There is that simple robes, and he has to go into the forest in exile. So that time it was the same happiness. That is the people. And I can tell you this one. I told you I heard from Acharya Vinoba Bhave this particular thing. It was when I was a high school student. So this man said, I met one person in this town called Ramasubbaredi. Actually, I have that. He has a Bhagavad Gita, small book. It is there in our house. It was given to my father. So he has said we keep it there. So there he says, this man Ramasubbaredi was with me in the jail, because that time they were freedom fighters, Babave and this Ramasubbaredi was a famous lawyer in Kadapa. So this Vinoba Bhave likes to learn languages. I heard he knows 18 or some languages, many languages, Indian. I think he has that interest. So he was learning Telugu from this Ramasubbaredi. So he was teaching Telugu, and then was in the jail. So then one day he got a telegram. And then he looked at it, he put it aside. She continued the class and finished the Telugu class to him. Then this Acharya Vinoba Bhave asked him, what is the telegram about? He says, my son died. So he was shocked, because that's a shocking news you hear. How can you even think about it? Most of the people will get so agitated, he will even can't say, okay, I will continue the lesson another time. So he was maintained. So that then when he was talking about Sthitaprajna, he was telling, in this town, I met a man who has that kind of qualities, who could maintain. So that's why no depression because he lost, and no excitement, I told you. Say. And Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, attachment. You should not have. Whole secret is this, the whole Bhagavad Gita is about attachment. Don't get attached to the fruits of your action. That's what we are all. So we all have different degrees of attachment. Attached to people, to property. So you have got. So that's why Swami said properties are not proper ties. So we have so many houses, or so many lands, or bank balance. So that is an attachment, because your mind always thinks about how to preserve this, what happens, what tax. Always artham anartham bhava nityam. That's why Adi Shankara wrote, Nasthita tassuka lekshya satyam putradapi dhana bhajambiti sarvatra isha vihitamruiti. Beautifully. Artham anartham bhava nityam. Swami also said money makes many evils. But if you use it for good purpose, it is good. But it can do that. Money is to be used right. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam nasthita tassuka lesha satyam. Even there is not even a trace of happiness in that. People think, because somebody we are thinking, oh, if I make million, I will be happy. That guy wants to make, there is no end. Then they want to make a billion. Billionaire want to be trillionaire. There is no end. So, and there is a guy in India. I see some of the people who will be working there. They will be bad things. They will be sleeping under a tree. They will be snoring and sleeping here. A lot of people have to take sleeping pills or go into the drugs, and you cannot even sleep properly. So attachment to those things. And then people get attached to family. You love family, but don't be attached. Love without attachment. And then attachment to friends. So different degrees of attachment. Attachment to power and position. Without that they cannot survive. Attachment to name and fame. So any of this attachment, this gives you misery. But the greatest attachment which you cannot give up easily is what? God. Attachment to body. Any attachment you can give attachment to God if you have complete. That's why the beautiful is, I won't be attached to family, I won't be attached to my property, I won't be tomorrow onwards. It is not possible. The secret is, the more you are attached to God, naturally you will be detached, because you don't have time for, you are thinking of God, you are doing His work, you are thinking about that. That is what Srirama Krishna said, you are going towards North Pole, automatically you are going away from South Pole. Similarly, the more you go towards God, go on thinking about Him, singing His glories, doing His work, automatically you will get the detachment. So that is the way to get detachment. It is not, otherwise it is not easy. Mind, because always attached to God, then you automatically get detached to the world, because that is the whole thing for bondage. Because there is a beautiful story in Yoga Vasishta. I think King Sikidhwaja, there is a famous king, and Chodalaka, that is his wife. So this man is sincere seeker. So he gives away his kingdom. In like old days, he gives away kingdom and family, everything. He goes in the forest for contemplative life. He wants to know God, sincere seeker. So his wife, she is a wise Brahmajnani too. She wants to teach him a lesson. So then when he goes to the forest, she asks him just in a different disguise, what did he go give up? Oh, I gave away my kingdom. And then he says, I gave away my family. First he says, oh, he didn't give anything. He got mad. Oh, I gave away my family. No, that is not much. Then he says, he had clothes. Oh, he threw away the clothes and just have a loin cloth. I gave away. Oh, you didn't give away much. Then this guy was, he says he want to put it, I will give away my body, that's all. No, you should give away that I. That means you think you possess that body. That is the thing. That I, which possess all this, that is the one you need to give up. That is why Swami said, cross the I, the symbol of cross. The whole secret is remove that I. That is the whole thing. That is the last thing to go up. He says it is easy to give up the family, properties, and all these other things, but ultimately that attachment to the body. That is why Vita Raga, that is the important thing. Once we get, you are realized. That is why King Janaka, I told he is a king. Another name for him is Videha. That means he has no body consciousness. Even though he was a king, he had no body consciousness. That is why his daughter is called Vaidehi, the one he has. Videha, he has no body consciousness at all, even though he was reeling. That is why Swami composed that song, Sathya Dharma Shanti Premalato అట్టి జనకునకు రాజయోగము అందరాని మోక్షము లభించనే. సో జనక Rajayogam, he is king, Andarani Moksham, the moksha which anybody cannot get, he got it because he has that no attachment. So that is another important thing is how to get rid of the attachment by going towards God. That is why there are only two things in grahas, people say 9 grahas. One is raga, another dvesha. One is attachment, something we like, and dvesha, something we don't like, whether it is food or whether it is people or whether places. Always we have these likes and dislikes. The more we have, the more problem we have. So Vita Raga. Second is Bhaya, that is fear. As last time also I said, Swami is the only one beautifully said, double Abhaya Hasta. Be fearless. That is one of the important qualities for spiritual seeker, not to have fear. Always we have fear. Everybody fear the people, fear of losing youth, I am getting old. There is fear of losing youth. And fear of losing health, I become sick. Or fear of losing wealth, I'll lose money, what will you do, how to do that. Or fear of losing the family and friends, so I have to be alone. So fear of losing the name and fame, people talk bad about me or something. And ultimately the greatest fear is fear of death. This body is gone. So this fear, so one thing is, these people who have no body consciousness, there's no fear because nothing for them to lose. So the importance is abhaya. Abhaya is one of the important qualities for spiritual seeker. Vita raga bhaya, krodha. So then anger. So that is why Swami says these 3 things represents the gateway to hell, which is kama, krodha. So like kama, for example, the desire, which is the obstacle. Who had that? Because of that, even though he was a great Ravana, he was not an ordinary man. He has 10 heads, they say, but he represents 4 Vedas and 6 scriptures. He knows so much and he is very well versed in arts, everything. But here the problem is he has wrong desires. Wrong desire for wrong things, the other's wife. So he did, that was his downfall. Otherwise, he was not only he is a great scholar, he was handsome and he was great bhakta of Shiva, all that. But one thing he has the weakness was the bad desire. So desire he should have. And the another quality is krodha, anger. Hiranyakashipu is an example. He hated Lord Vishnu so much, he has so much anger. So even though Swami says he's the greatest scientist ever known is Hiranyakashipu. In those days he could go to any planet he wants, not just moon or Jupiter or anything. He could go to any planet he wants, so no restriction. All planets he could go at the will, and he could control all the elements, 5 elements. So he could, under the wind don't blow, the sun don't shine. They all used to listen. That kind of power Hiranyakashipu had. But one thing is, he had that anger and hatred. So that was his downfall. And another is lobha, kama, krodha, lobha. These are greed and jealousy. This Duryodhana is the example. Though he was called Suryodhana at one time, he is green, but he was not happy with what he had. He wants to take away his cousin's property, and he was jealous that they don't want to come up. So these 3 are the gateways to hell. That's what actually Lord Krishna says in the latter chapter. So one of the things is krodha, anger. So, and a lot of us, we get anger different times. So, but we should try to minimize the anger. Actually, no anger is the great. That is why in Vishnu Sahasranama it says krodha, krodha. That means he destroys the anger. But at the same time, righteous anger is okay. That is called manyu. There is righteous anger like Lord Narasimha has, Hanuman. The righteous time, like righteous indignation they call. It is right because something adharma is happening. You need to show the anger. But it should be righteous, not for your selfish end. That is called not krodha, that is called manyu. That is you should have it so that you have righteous indignation. So, but you should have You have a question? So that's when you have desire. Whenever our desire doesn't get fulfilled, we get anger. So actually there's a big topic we'll talk next. We have some question before we proceed further.
That's a question. I just wanted to say.
Is it a comment or a question?
It's a comment, I think.
Okay, read.
I just wanted to say I am very appreciative of SSSC of Arcadia and teachings of Sai Baba. I attended there when I was a kid with my parents. Then lived some life and then come back to satsang end of 2019 and have attended virtual. And I was seeking Baba's blessings and thankful. I was able to get more work in my field in 2022 and on an episode of streaming show and wanted to share gratitude that I have for SSC of Arcadia. Swami's teachings. I don't have a question. I just wanted to share my thanks that I am filled with peace, letting Sai Baba to guide me in his divine timing instead of trying to rush on my own. With blessings and joy to everyone.
Good. Thanks for the positive feedback. We appreciate
So
that.
that is
As Swami says, attitude of gratitude is a sign of a good human being. Man minus gratitude is equal to, Swami says, demon, not even animal. Because in Aditya Hridayam people chant, one of the thing is called Kritagnaya Namaha. That means anybody who has no gratitude, Swami says they will become blind because the sun is responsible for. So always be careful. So if somebody gets an eye problem in this life, next life, so if you have really no gratitude to people who have done anything, so let it be parents or family, friends, somebody, everybody, some does this. We need to be grateful to them. More so to God who gives everything. If not, you will have that. So I'm happy this young man, looks like probably a young man because he attended Russia, so appreciate his positive feedback.
So that's a question. Is there any practice to consciously do regularly to develop equanimity?
So just that is called Abhyas Yoga. As I said, when you like two yogas instead of Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga and Karma Yoga, throughout the Gita, two yogas Lord Krishna says. One is Anasakti Yoga, that means doing everything without asakti, attachment. Second is Abhyasa Yoga, constant practice. That is why when Arjuna asks, he says, very difficult to control the mind. It is fickle. It's like jumps all over. I can hold the air in my hand, but not the mind. What to do? Then Lord Krishna says, Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. Is no doubt, Arjuna, Mahabaho, my son, it is manas, the mind is Durnigraham, very difficult to control because it is very fickle. So he himself is telling. Then what is the solution? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena tu grihyate. Two solutions how to do that equanimity. Abhyasa, constant practice. Practice, like anything, practice makes a man perfect, whether you are singing or you are talking or you are reading or writing. Abhyas. And second is vairagyana chigute. We just talked about detachment. One is through detachment and practice you can attain equanimity. So constantly, practical question, how do you do that? That means first you get detached to all this various sensory output. I want this, I want that. Control the desires, number of desires, cut it down, ceiling on desires. Then, so just not to be maintain that stage, everything take it as the prasad from God. That is the best attitude to take. So whatever happens, this is the prasad. When you have prasad, some other things I don't know. Haima says, oh, this is a prasad, then I'm stuck. Okay, I'll give it to me a little bit. Even though it may not taste, because it is prasad, I have to take it. Similarly in life, every situation we take as prasad of God. That means God's gift. Prasad is nothing but gift from God. If it is gift from God, he won't complain. Even Swami, somebody says, Swami gave the chair, watch, this is cheaper. You don't say the value, put the thing. So what has God given, that is the highest value. Similarly in life, every situation you take as a gift of God, then you won't complain. You joyfully, like Rama example I gave, you joyfully accept, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. That is joyful acceptance of that. So take everything as God's gift. So there is, as they say in Muslims, Allah diya, Allah liya. So Allah has given. Or in Job in the Old Testament, I don't have time to go on that, read it. The Old Testament says, Lord hath given and Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That is what in Job in the Old Testament. This is a beautiful story. Probably we can talk about next week about the stage of equanimity. Okay, so that is it, and I will continue the next session. Saira.